I'm what you could call a collector of Pokemon games. Pokemon Diamond and Jade, Chaos Black. It's amazing the frequency with which you can find them at pawn shops, Goodwill, and flea markets. They're generally fun, even if they are unplayable. The mistranslations and poor quality make them unintentionally humorous. I've been able to find most of the ones that I've played online, but there's one that I haven't seen any mention of. I bought it at a flea market about 5 years ago. Unfortunately, when I moved 2 years ago, I lost the game, so I can't provide you with any screen caps. Sorry. The game started with the familiar Nidorino and Gengar intro of the Red and Blue version. However, the press start screen had been altered. Red was there, but the Pokemon did not cycle through. It also said Black version under the Pokemon logo. Upon selecting New Game, the game started with the Professor Oak speech, and it quickly became evident that the game was essentially Pokemon Red version. After selecting your starter, if you choose your Pokemon, you had an addition to Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle, another Pokemon called Ghost. The Pokemon was level 1, and it had the spread of the ghosts that were encountered in Lavender Town before obtaining the Silph Scope. It only had one attack, Curse. I know that there is a real move named Curse, but the attack did not exist in Generation 1, so it appears it was hacked in. Defending Pokemon were unable to attack Ghost. It would only say that they were too scared to move. When the move Curse was used in battle, the screen would cut to black. The cry of the defending Pokemon would be heard, but it was distorted, played at a much lower pitch than normal. The battle screen would then reappear and the defending Pokemon would be gone. If used in a battle against a trainer, when the Pokeballs representing their Pokemon would appear in the corner, they would have one fewer Pokeball. The implication was that the Pokemon died? What's even stranger is that after defeating a trainer and seeing the red receive 200 for winning, the battle commands would appear again. If you selected Run, the battle would end as it normally does. You could also select Curse. If you did, you would return to the overworld, and the trainer sprite would be gone. After leaving and re-entering the area, the spot where the trainer had been would be replaced with a tombstone, like the ones at Lavender Tower. The move Curse was not unusable in all instances. It would fail against ghost Pokemon. It would also fail if it was used against trainers that you would have to face again, such as your rival or Giovanni, but it was usable in your final battle against them, however. I figured this was a gimmick of the game, allowing you to use the previously uncapturable ghosts, and because Curse made the game so easy, I essentially used it throughout the whole adventure. The game changed quite a bit after defeating the Elite Four and viewing the Hall of Fame, which consisted of ghosts and a couple of Pokemon I used for HMs. The screen cut to black. A box appeared with the words, "Many years later." It then cut to Lavender Town. An old man was standing looking at tombstones. Then you realize this man was your character. The man moved at only half of your normal walking speed. You no longer had any Pokemon with you, not even ghosts, who up to this point had been impossible to move from your party, though depositing in the PC. The overworld was entirely empty. There were no people at all. There were still the tombstones of the trainers that you used Curse on, however. You could pretty much go anywhere in the world at this point, though your movement was limited by the fact you had no Pokemon to use HMs. And regardless of where you went, the music of Lavender Town continued on an infinite loop. After wandering for a while, I found that if you go through Diglett's cave and one of the cuttable bushes that normally blocks the path on the other side is no longer there, allowing you to advance and return to Pallet Town. Upon entering your house and going to the exact tile where you start the game, the screen cut to black. Then a spread of Caterpie appeared. It was then replaced by a Weedle, then a Pidgey. I soon realized as the Pokemon progressed from Rattata to Blastoise that these were all the Pokemon that you had used Cursed on. After the end of my rival's team, a youngster appeared, then a Bugcatcher. These were the trainers I cursed. Throughout the sequence, the Lavender Town music was playing, but it was slowly decreasing in pitch. By the time your rival appeared on screen, it was more than a demonic rumble. Another cut to black. A few minutes later, the battle screen suddenly appeared. Your trainer sprite was now that of an old man, the same one as the one that teaches you how to catch Pokemon in Viridian City. Ghost appeared on the other side, but the words "Ghost wants to fight." You couldn't use items, and you had no Pokemon. If you tried to run, you couldn't escape. The only option was fight. Using fight would immediately cause you to use struggle, which didn't affect Ghost, but did chip off your own health. It was then Ghost's turn to attack, and it would simply say ... Eventually, when your HP reached critical point, Ghost would finally use Curse. The screen cut to black a final time. Regardless of the buttons you pressed, you were permanently stuck in this black screen. At this point, the only thing you could do was turn the Game Boy off. When you played again, New Game was the only option. The game had erased the file. I played through this hack game many times, and every time the game ended with this sequence. Several times I didn't use Ghost at all, though he was impossible to remove in the party. In these cases, it did not show any Pokemon or trainers, it simply cut to the climatic battle with Ghost. I'm not sure what the motives were behind the creator of this hack. It wasn't widely distributed, so it was presumably not for monetary gain. It was very well done for bootleg. It seems he was trying to convey a message, though it seems I am the sole receiver of that message. I'm not sure what it was, the inevitability of death, the pointlessness of it. Perhaps he was simply trying to morbidly inject death and darkness into a children's game. Regardless, this children's game has made me think, and it has made me cry.